Guys, welcome back to the Agoge Show, joined by Byron Ovenstone and Josh Honsberger. And we get this question a lot, like, how do I stay motivated? How do I stay motivated even when my motivation is wailing? Is that a word? Wailing?
Yeah.
Failing?
Failing.
Yeah.
Fading.
Whining like you, the little bitch.
Yeah. Wow. Got really aggressive really fast. That
It escalated really quickly.
Yeah. I figured you'd have a stance on this, but the reality is motivation is a drug. It's like cocaine. It brings you up. You watch something on YouTube, you go experience something, it feels great, and then it eventually over time it fades. So
I think motivation's the catalyst, right? It's what'll get you going, but then it's the disciplines and the habits that you build off the back end that keep the engine ticking over. The motivation is just like that little. It's like a moment where you're like, I should be doing something about this. And then it's like, okay, well, what are we going to do about it? And then you build out the habits and the processes and the systems and the disciplines and everything else. And then at that point, the motivation doesn't matter anymore. It's more about like, I'm obligated to be this guy. I have to be this guy. And we talked about this at the dinner table last night again. Like, dude, it doesn't matter how I feel. It doesn't matter whether I slept or didn't sleep. I have a set of responsibilities that take over till tomorrow. And when the alarm goes off, I run that play, regardless of whether I'm sleep deprived, hungry, tired. If I have a pulse, those things are getting done.
I think that your motivation is going to fade.
Always.
It's going.
I'm not motivated.
But you nailed it because you associate it to like how you feel, and motivation is very much a feeling.
Correct.
And when we're operating from a place of feelings, well, you're guaranteed to not get what you want to go. Because if you're waking up every day and taking your emotional temperature, well,
fuck it, dude. 7 out of 7 days, I don't feel like waking up in the morning.
Yeah, right. At 2:45 in the morning,
yeah,
to drive to the gym.
Nah.
But Josh and I used to talk about this all the time. We're like, okay, let's look at it from and you're a professional athlete, so you understand this. Let's look at it from a professional athlete standpoint. Somebody that's like going to the Olympics or an Olympic athlete. Do you think that they like want to get up and do this to their body and train at the level that they are? Like when they get the cold, when they get all these different things, like life's going on, got to fight.
They're human as well.
Right. Just human beings.
Like, yeah, they
have the same problems that we do. You know what I mean? But guess what? They're not to be great. And I think it was the coach of Alabama that said it. He's like, if you want to be great, you just simple. Every decision that you make, does it get you closer to the goal or further away from it? Mm-hmm. And so it has nothing to do with your feelings or how you feel. It's 100% has to do with what is the goal and what do I got to do to get there.
It sounds clinical and cold, but at the end of the day, it's the fucking.
Well, it is.
It's the reality.
It is because you
know what I mean. But from other people externally, they're like, "Oh, that's so cold or clinical," or that just doesn't.
Exactly, that's the point. It removes feeling. Yeah. So, like, does this get me closer to my objective or further away from it? It gets me closer, then we execute. If it gets me further away from it, then it's not on the arc. There's a great story about a UK. Maybe you've heard about this. I guess the UK was like shit for rowing.
Rowing. I was waiting for you to tee this up because I was like, if you don't say it, I was going to say it.
Oh, fuck.
So you know this story?
Oh, of course I know this story.
I don't remember the guy.
Does it make the boat go faster?
Yes.
Yeah, if it doesn't make the boat go faster, we don't do it. If it makes the boat go faster, we do it.
So they were shit,
and they
right?
fucking crushed.
They were complete.
Terrible.
I think that's what was the foundation of Atomic Habits, actually.
Correct.
It was?
Yes.
Okay, so.
It's in that book.
It's in the book. But yeah, that's what they came down to, right? They got with a team. They sucked, and they just changed their philosophy. It's like, does it make the boat go faster? Will it get us closer to the Olympics? Yes. No? It's off the table. Does going to the pub and drinking 3 pints with my friends after training get me closer to the Olympics or further away? Further away? Not on the table.
We don't do that anymore.
And that was it. That was the decision-making process. So it had fuck all to do with motivation and how they felt. It was just eye on the prize.
Right.
Predetermined why. Right?
Right.
Like, it was just kind of what I was thinking about, right? Is if you have such an understanding or a strong like passion for what your why is, your reasoning of why you're going to be doing something or wanting something, the motivation it's going to come and go and fade. It's going to be high. It's going to be low. It's going to be here. It's going to
You
be
have
there.
great days. You can have shitty days.
But you're going to be so driven that you want to complete this task or achieve this mechanism or reach this goal or whatever it is, that it's not going to fucking matter. And you're going to be able to power through it because you want that outcome so bad. You're so convicted with the habits that Byron was talking about that then when the motivation is lacking or it's in the dumps, because again, we're all fucking human, man. Like, we're not going to wake up every day totally cheery-eyed. But the discipline and the habits that we formed, we're just going to fucking do those. We're going to perform those, and then we're going to begin to make steps in that right direction.
Well, it's the Agoge story, right? It's like what we tell our onboarding clients that are coming into the Agoge. It's like, why do you want to be, like, you tell me about your goals, but why do you want to reach those goals? Because the why matters, and the reason why is this. If you just want to look good naked, like already,
Another one. You're gonna quit tomorrow.
You're gonna quit tomorrow.
Yeah.
When the alarm goes, okay, this, and like, all right, this is what you're gonna do. So Nick messages you and says, all right, you're gonna wake up at 4 a.m. You're gonna go out to your garage, and depending on where you live, it's already at 4 a.m. It's already 130 degrees, or it's, you know, if you live with Joe lives, it's 30 degrees,
below zero,
or below zero. That's what the warm is at 30 degrees. Yeah. So negative 20, 4 a.m. and you got to go do 200 burpees for time. If your whole why is I just want to look good naked, and your hot wife is laying in the bed next to you, it's 4 a.m. and it's warm in there, like, ain't happening, bro.
No chance, dude.
But if you're overweight and your son pokes your belly all the time and be like, Dad, you're fat. You know, you got a fat belly, Dad. And then your son's looking like that and starting to get a little fat belly too. Like, I'm teeing Byron. I'm like pushing off the buttons.
It goes off of, like, it's not just something that we do, it's what we do.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of a conversation.
But my point, real quick, my point is why are you doing the thing like we were talking about? Like, if it's to set the example for my family so that my kids don't grow up overweight and struggling in life, or I just want to set a good example of how, like, successful people perform, or I want to be a role model to my children, you know, well, it's bigger than yourself. Mm-hmm. Looking good naked is it's a completely isolated thing. Sure, do I want to look good for my wife? Yeah, sure, but it starts here. But the thing is, when you start changing that why from a selfish thing from yourself to something bigger than yourself, well, then it's like, oh, I'm not getting out of bed because I want to. I'm getting bed because I have to. I'm getting out of bed because I have to. And I got to go do this thing and execute because these people rely on me, and I'm trying to build something bigger than what's worth laying in bed.
And it may start with one thing, and then as you begin to like chip away at it,
Yeah.
you start to realize, like, oh, this also feeds this mechanism of my life.
Exactly.
Oh, it feeds this mechanism of my
It's a
life.
gateway
Oh, it feeds
drug.
that one. And then
Yeah.
you're like, I start with one why, and that one why really actually has, like 5 or 6 that I've now found out.
Ancillary wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then it's like, well, now I have to do this.
Yeah.
This is what I do. This isn't just something I do.
Yeah.
It's part of what I do in order to achieve all this shit that I want in my life and all the great things that I have.
There's a psychological method or process where I've done this with clients before, is when you ask them why, and they give you an answer, and then
The
you go
7 whys.
the 7 whys,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
then you ask them why, like, why is that important? And it takes, basically mathematically, it's an average of 7 whys before you get to the root cause, and then it's usually very, very deep, and it's like, that's what you need. It like, now we're there, that's the reason why, and that's the reason why you gotta hold to it. Yeah.
Because even like you touched on,
Most
where,
people don't know.
No, they don't. They just like they think. But even like when you were talking about, your kid pokes you in the belly. I've had those conversations with people. They're like, yeah, my kid makes fun of me and pokes me in the belly and says I'm fat. I'm like, cool, let's run the play then. This is what we're going to do. This is how we know. It's not for me, Byron. It's too much work.
See, that would be it for
Wait,
me.
what?
But you're
How am I
trying to
supposed
complain
converse
to
with
me,
this motherfucker?
right?
Yeah.
Like, that for me is enough.
That's enough for me.
Also, stop complaining.
Right.
Like, if someone's telling, if I was like the client telling you that, and then you're like, well, I'm good, Byron. I really just don't want to put in the work. But I'm like, well, then fucking stop complaining to me, because you truly don't care that much.
Right.
You're just trying to.
No, at that point, you're looking for a therapist. You're not looking
Exactly.
for a solution to
Coach
a problem.
It's
Coach-
okay, Byron. Don't worry.
Coach Jerry's was a good one.
Yeah.
He was like, what did he say at the time when he joined was 43? or even
Before
younger.
my time.
Somewhere right in there, yeah.
Right there, and his dad died of basically heart disease.
That'll
you
do
know,
it.
Yep.
At 47.
Yep.
And he was like, and Jerry was over 300 pounds, and he was heading, like, already having issues and heading straight for that.
He was on
same
that
thing.
trajectory.
He was on
and
that
then he
trajectory.
Looked at, the age of when his dad died, looked
Yeah.
at his own age and said,
I'm right there.
shit, like,
I'm right there.
I'm probably right there. Like,
Has a
I need
daughter,
to,
has a son.
I need to fix something. I need to do something, because he just did not want to be that. And if that's the motivation that you have, that's what it takes. If that gets you to the first step
Of the planning.
of the plan,
Yeah.
then okay. Like, you can use all sorts of different things. It doesn't always have to be like your end state, the fuel that you're going to use throughout the entire duration. It could use that to get you to either step one or phase one or whatever that is, and then you might find something new that's going to drive you.
Well, I would argue if you don't find something new, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Because there has to be levels to this game.
Yeah.
Like, if it's just the same thing forever, even that becomes meh. Oh, I'm doing it for my kids. Okay. And then what? Like, now you've got abs and you're in good condition, so what?
Right.
Like, are you actually still showing up now? Like, cool, you've got abs, you have energy, but maybe you have energy and you're utilizing it the wrong way. So there's levels to this thing as well. It always, like, the 7 whys. Like, the first why might just be like, dude, my first why was I need to just be able to respect the guy looking back in the mirror.
It starts there.
I can't even respect this guy. So how can I expect anyone else to respect me? I'm not proud of this guy. How can anyone else look at me and be proud of this guy? So the first layer was like, dude, just learn to respect yourself. What does it take for me to respect me again? Okay, cool. Like, this is the kind of person I respect. Cool, let me create that. And then it was like, oh, okay, now it's this. Oh, now I'm a better business owner. I make more money because I have, I'm paying attention to these micro details over here.
Yeah.
And those are transferring into my business. Oh, shit. Okay. And then all of a sudden I got married and had a daughter. And it's like, oh, I thought I knew what responsibility was. And I thought I was an adult until you hold that little thing for the first time. And you're like, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, this thing will live or die because of me.
Right.
Now, when the alarm goes off, it doesn't matter.
I don't feel like getting up. Well, no shit, I don't feel like getting up.
Yeah. That's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, like every day.
So how do you balance? Then how do you balance somebody who's in that dark spot that is like ready to throw in the towel? Because I'm not motivated. I'm ready to throw in the towel. Like, what's the fix here?
You don't have to be motivated. If you're in such a detrimental spot, you have to. I mean, people need to realize how bad off their situations are. And now, obviously, everyone is not in a dire straits, live or die type of scenario. But I think there's a lot of people that are on the cusp of it. If they continue to live the life that they have or keep choosing and making the choices that they do have, at some point in the time, at some point in the day or a couple of years down the road, they may be in that spot. So being honest with yourself about the reality of how bad off you are.
Some of them don't even know, though, Josh. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I've had plenty of conversations where they will justify the position that they're in as being okay. It's normal. This is my life. Yeah, but it doesn't have to be.
Right.
Like, you're choosing this. Every day you're deciding to hit the snooze button. You're deciding to eat those pizzas. Like, you're deciding to numb through alcohol, drugs, and all of the other shit. Like, that's a decision.
Yeah.
And off the back of that, like, before we even hit the record button, I was saying you have the freedom of choice, not consequence. It's like you're making these choices and now you have to live with those consequences. I just got to a point where I was like, dude, I don't like these consequences anymore.
So I'm going to change the choices.
What consequences am I okay with? Cool, then I have to make these choices.
Yes.
And then it's no longer a choice. Because, like, this is what has to be done. And, like, every single day, I think we talked about this on a project call not too long ago, I have a high, medium, and low priority list. And until such time as my fucking high priority list is done, my day doesn't end.
Yeah.
I will still have my 6 to 8 p.m. where I hang out with the family. But then if at 8 p.m. there's still shit on the hide list, bro, you're back in the office. They go to bed and you run the fucking play. Because the moment that you let that slip, you open the door for other things.
all kinds of other things.
And then it's like, well, what's one drink? Oh, what's one fucking this? What's one that? Oh, what does it matter if I hit the snooze?
And it's never just one.
And then it's not.
Well, what it is
it's practicing a habit that now becomes a thing.
The worst thing that you can do is cheat on yourself.
Which is what most people do.
Right. And that because that becomes that you give yourself permission and then it becomes habitual And then next thing you know, you look down the road of a year and however long, and you're like, what the fuck?
How did we get here?
How did we get here?
Been there, done
Yeah.
that.
Right, same.
Lack
How
of
the
self-respect.
fuck am I 40% body fat?
All of us.
I used to have abs. Now I'm 40% body fat. How the fuck did that happen?
I was 240 and sub 10% body fat when we were on a team together. And then fast forward a few years, I'm 240 and 30% body fat.
Yeah.
I'm on the beach in Greece, and I'm like, I look at a photo, I'm like, what the
fuck?
and it's all 100% choices. And it's all because I told myself that I could, what's one?
I
What's
deserve
one?
this.
And I cheated on myself.
Yeah.
And it became habitual.
Right.
Oh, if I could do it once, I can do it twice. If I can do it twice, I can do it for 3 months.
'Cause we're very good at con artisting ourselves, right? I can bullshit myself into believing anything. I'm very good at it. And it gets to a point where I'm like, well, I deserve this. Dude, I haven't missed for fucking 40 days. Of course I can do this now.
Right.
And then that one is not one. Because I've got a very addictive personality. I figured that out.
Yeah.
That's why I'm stuck a pit bull. Like, I just latch onto something and I don't let it go.
Yeah.
So now I've latched onto fucking jelly beans. And I'm all about jelly beans, and I've eaten jelly beans every day for fucking 6 months, and I wonder why I look like a goddamn jelly bean. Like shark, dude. So just don't do it in the first place. Like, build the habit.
What color jelly bean was your favorite?
All of them.
All?
All of them, dude. I just fucking slam them. I don't give a fuck. And then you're like, then you feel bad, and then it's like, well, what's the PlayStation? Like, I feel bad about the fact that I ate like a dick, so now I'm going to hide in a virtual reality where I can create a different version of me who is successful because he's winning at this game. So I'm going to hide there.
Oh, the avatar that you create that's all jacked and that's all jacked and
And
ripped. And
yeah, he's playing fucking NHL and he's smoking everyone because he's 7 foot tall
Yeah,
at
yeah.
300 pounds, 1% body fat. And I'm this god amongst men on a PlayStation or fucking VR
Meanwhile,
headset.
you're 300 pounds and 40% body
and
fat.
hate myself
And hate yourself.
every day and
Oh,
fucking
gosh,
wanting to
yeah.
jump off a roof.
Yeah.
Like, that's most people's existence. And then you have the remember when conversations.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember when I was a gangster. Bro, what are you today? How do you show up today? I don't give a fuck who you were yesterday. With respect, I don't care who anyone was yesterday. Like, how do you show up today?
Right.
Because what you do today matters. Yesterday's done. I can't change that.
No.
And tomorrow might not happen.
Round is out of the rifle. Can't change the trajectory.
And
Done.
I might not wake up tomorrow. So fucking who cares about tomorrow as
Yeah.
well? Like, I need to make sure that today is the best possible day I can have. And unfortunately, that means I'm going to have to do some shit I might not want to do.
Well, I think it's, and it comes back to, to wrap it up, it goes back to what Josh was saying. It's like, why?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you fucking nail that thing, like, you need to, like, then you need to put it on every mirror and every Post-it note and on your fridge, like Mario does. And,
Go through the exercise. You don't have to have the 7th one today.
No, but just
But like
start the
Byron
process,
said, like
yeah.
if that first one, right, like was enough of a realization, then use the first one to get you to the second one.
Yeah.
And then you might uncover the third, and then you might find the fourth, and when you get to 7, there might fucking be 12.
And make it
we're
a
gonna keep
mantra,
going.
man. Like,
But don't think you have to have all the answers in
keep-
order to be able to start.
I don't know where you put it. Write it on your hand. Write it on your forehead. So you look in the mirror. Put it on the mirror. Post-it notes everywhere. But like that needs to be slapping you in the face every minute, every day.
Mirror in the bathroom, man.
I tell
Dry
you what,
erase markers on
you
the
want to
mirror in
have
the
like a
bathroom.
first why? Stand in the mirror naked and have a good hard look at yourself. And if you don't like what you see, there's your first fucking why.
Yeah.
And if that one's okay, pull up your bank accounts. And if you don't like that one, there's your fucking why.
And then go ask your wife how
Right.
our relationship
How am I showing
is.
up?
How am I showing up? How are we? How good are we?
There's layers to this game.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, you'll find it real quick. Because I feel like I've got things pretty squared away. And just a month ago, my wife was like, hey, motherfucker, this is how you're showing up. Like, we exist too. It's like, oh.
I slipped.
I thought I was like, got into
Yeah.
tick box mode, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, well, you're on date night, but you're also kind of like your phone's kind of there and you're not fully present.
Right.
And the conversations we're having are superficial because you don't really give a fuck. You're thinking about other shit. And it's like all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's what's up. Okay, so yeah, I have abs and yeah, we're doing okay financially, but my kids don't know who I am and my wife doesn't know who I am and thinks that I'm fucking disconnected. That's a problem.
Fortunately, you were in a good enough place for her to be able to bring that up, though.
Right.
Because a lot of people
you've
are
created the space to be able to have those conversations.
And in a not judgmental way to where your immediate reaction is to put your fists up.
Oh.
Because
Fly off the handle.
Because that really works out really well.
yeah, there's no win there. But like when you're in the wrong space, I'm that guy too. Fuck you. What do you mean I'm not showing up? Do you know how much shit I do for you fuckers every single day?
This,
Yeah,
you know.
and it's easy to go there.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, dude, like I can't speak on behalf of you guys, but my wife and kids have no idea what I deal with every single day. I shelter the fuck out of them. Like I take 500 dick punches and then I roll through the front door and I try to have a smile on my face and I try to pretend like everything's good, even when sometimes it's not. And that's just the way I like to play the game.
Welcome to being a man.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, man, this has to be done.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to explain this to my son because my son just wants to do the stuff that he enjoys. And I'm like, yeah, you're 9, you get to do that. But imagine if you conditioned yourself now to do some shit you don't want to do and you practice that for the next 10 years. Dude, when you're 19, you're going to stomp on every single other 19-year-old's throat.
And not only that, but you won't even be friends with 19-year-olds.
No, because you
have
can't relate to
nothing in
them.
common with
Nothing
them.
makes sense.
Nothing, yeah.
All your bitchy little problems, like, I don't understand you. You're not,
Right.
That's not normal.
Right.
But, like, it's easy to just put on the fucking, have the shield up. And, like, my wife literally said, like, a few times, she's like, dude, put down the sword. Like, we don't have to go to battle on this. Because that's my natural thing,
But
too.
it's a lack of emotional intelligence.
Correct.
Yeah.
And also, there's factors and there's rules, there's like layers to this game. We always talk about this. But, like, you have a day where you take 500 punches and you come into the front door and your wife just delivers another one. And it's like, hey, man, you're not showing up for me. Like, sometimes that just takes whatever wind you did have in your sails right out.
Just take
Now you're like,
take a breath.
Fuck.
But this goes along with, you know, if you get into this line of thought and questioning and discussion, you really have to lower your ego and your pride.
Whoa.
Like, it's not gonna serve you in any way, shape, or form.
No.
Like, just let all that shit go.
Fact.
You know, but it's a hard thing to do for men to do if you're not in the space already. But once you realize that, like, if I just let go of my own ego and my pride and just open the door for communication and being able to receive, and the reason why is this: how do I have to show up, act, communicate to get the most positive outcome of this situation?